A major part of this module will be devoted to describing how Jeffrey Immelt remade General Electric and what he learned along the way in leading this transformation. Jeffrey Immelt and GE's story has much to teach about how to deal with the kinds of challenges and changes and dysfunctions as described in the first module. Immelt describes GE's 20-year experience as going through a series of 5 major transformations, all of which provide major lessons for all organizations today. And in line with my theme in this module, all of these transformations require sophisticated and successful talent management. One of these transformations, which I will come back to later in this module, was what GE referred to as their global growth experiment. In order to implement the changes that Immelt felt were necessary to grow, the company pushed cross-business and cross-border collaboration throughout the company and recruited, hired, and developed talented staff globally who embraced this collaboration strategy. GE needed to rebuild its workforce with people who could and would work with whoever was needed from wherever they were located throughout the global firm. One large survey of global firms, large and small, supported these findings. The survey found that 79% of reporting companies said they have skills gaps that are difficult to close, and most said they didn't understand how to solve the problem. More than half of these companies admitted they lacked the insights needed to improve the quality of their talent pipelines. Immelt and GE's experiences provided a great example about both how hard it is and about how great can be the rewards. In Immelt's words, when you get to the point where you believe to your core that things have fundamentally changed, when you feel that if you don't do it, it's going to get done to you, it's time to act and to engage the organization. For example, when talking to the organization, Immelt would say, if we don't become the best technology company in the world, we're doomed. Or if we don't become the best digital industrial firm, I would say, there is no plan B. There is no other way to get there. Who's coming with me? What's in your way? What do we need to do differently? And you repeat the message over and over again until literally everyone is really on board. Eventually, the changes were created and implemented. The transformations included changes to the overall business portfolio, from being a classic conglomerate with businesses and many non-related products and services to being a focused industrial conglomerate. GE radically changed its portfolio by focusing on its core industrial businesses, high-tech, manufacturing-based products and services, and divesting slower growth, low-tech, and non-industrial businesses, including financial services, except for the components of the financial business that supported the industrial businesses, media and entertainment, and major appliances. Acquisitions bolstered the remaining businesses and supported moves into additive manufacturing and digital industrial. This strategy to refocus a firm's core business is critical. GE placed a renewed and changed emphasis on innovation, moving from M&A-driven diversification to tech-driven growth. This too was seen as critical to achieving all of the transformations, and it required a realignment of technical staffing. Immelt reestablished GE as a technology company, more than doubling its investment in R&D. As part of its drive to rekindle organic growth, GE made big bets on lean, energy-efficient products, the industrial internet, and additive manufacturing. They required major investments in new tech capabilities, particularly software development. Research operations tripled during Immolt's tenure to 10 centers worldwide. The R&D budget has been maintained even in down years. One cornerstone to making this work was the commitment to hire 1,000 new software engineers and programmers, which had to be done on a global basis. All of this required renewed commitment to innovation. These transformations all presented major concerns with dealing with disruption. And this disruption provided a number of new lessons with regard to the implementation and incorporation of innovation. Just as with the innovation transformation, globalization from a U.S. focus to a global focus was a critical change to the overall company profile. GE became a truly global company with a strong local presence in the 180 countries they serve. To make this work, it often meant replacing executives who had been in foreign assignments for a long time and built protocols that they didn't want to change to become more collaborative within the new system. In response to slow growth in the developed world and faster growth in emerging markets, GE expanded its global presence. Leading the push was the Global Growth Organization, mentioned early in this module, a group that gave local and regional managers far more power to drive the growth of GE businesses in targeted countries. GE now conducts businesses in some 180 countries, up from about 100 in 2010, the year before the group was formed. In 2016, the revenues generated outside the U.S. by the company's existing industrial businesses amounted to $67 billion, or 59% of their total, up from $46 billion, or 54% of their total in 2010. During that time, the number of GE employees outside the U.S. grew from 154,000, or 54% of the total, to 191,000, or 65% of the total. And as of March 31st, 2017, $232 billion of GE's order backlog, or 72% of the total, was from outside the U.S. Obviously, this globalization strategy was only possible with the successful implementation of a global talent management strategy, recruiting, hiring, and developing a highly talented workforce on a global scale, not just at home, but throughout the world. The fourth transformation involved a change in the overall strategic focus from industrial to digital industrial, again supported by talent management, which involved changes in the nature of recruitment and development of employee talent around the world. GE became a major force in the technologies they determined would drive productivity in this era: the industrial internet and additive manufacturing. In prior years, Immold had talked about the move toward the use of digital technology by all of GE's organizations. Immold and GE saw that the source of competitive advantage in manufacturing, and I would argue all other fields as well, was shifting from hardware to software, supported by sensors embedded in the machines and products and services, coupled with analytics to support analysis of processes and customers and decision-making. So Immelt committed GE to making and servicing smart, connected products. The company established a major software center in San Ramon, California, created GE Digital as a new business, and launched the Predix platform, a contender to become the operating system for the industrial internet. GE also acquired 2 additive manufacturing companies and 4 software firms. I repeat all of this to reinforce that this is what you need to copy to be successful to meet the dysfunctions of today's economy. Hopefully this helps to give you ideas about what you need to examine in your own organization. And key to it all is evaluating and seeking the human talent to implement the strategies. To support all of this, GE's organization, from top down to bottom up, had to become agile and decentralized. Thus, GE became a vastly simpler company in terms of how it runs, with much less administration and shorter cycle times, became more decentralized, and is now more willing to let people deep in the organization who are close to their markets take risks without having to undergo multiple reviews. In 2011, GE hired Bill Rue from Cisco to lead the industrial internet effort, to establish a software center in San Ramon, California that would support the transformations, and to insist from day one that GE would infuse the effort with outside talent. As I mentioned earlier, GE's original goal was to hire 1,000 software engineers. Those decisions have led GE to where it is today. It has enabled GE to digitize its business in all the ways I have discussed. But this required hiring large numbers of highly qualified IT employees. These transformations and transforming actions were designed to confront the many global challenges that GE was experiencing. One of the first organizational actions taken by GE was to help the firm to develop a global mindset for everyone, whether or not they work internationally. GE began to recruit from a global labor force, responding to the question of what countries have the talents you are looking for and how do you find them and recruit them. Insisted on implementing the firm's core values globally throughout the 180 countries of GE's global operations. Of course, this required addressing the question of how do we do that and what will be the problems. Some of the other ideas about how to implement talent management involves creating a global learning organization, maintaining a positive environment in midst of prolonged downturns and/or disruptions, dispersing people with international experience throughout the firm, training everyone in cross-cultural and cross-border communication, etiquette, protocol, negotiation styles, and ethics. And most importantly, every employee needs to consider the possibilities to develop him or herself internationally. Human capital management, or it is sometimes called human resource management or talent management, specialists at enterprises large and small speak in a unified voice on one critical issue. Workforce quality is usually the single most important determinant of long-term success for any business of any size. Indeed, it is especially important for smaller businesses because the impact of each employee on business outcomes is magnified. Productivity and profitability go hand in hand. Says Steve Benson, founder and CEO of a relatively small company, there is nothing more important that a business leader does than recruit and hire people who are a great fit for the team. He says, if I only get one thing right, it has to be this. I hope you all place human capital management at the top of your priorities, whether you are in agriculture, industry, commerce, or government anywhere in the world. Thank you.